Clements, and we are on. Hi, my name is Kirstie Clements, and we are now on What Are You Reading? And we're going to have like a little mini book chat for the next 30 minutes here on the Better Reading Facebook. And I am looking forward to you all joining in and giving me your comments on what you are reading. I'm here. Cheryl has kindly invited me on to share some of my favourite books with you, and also to talk about the book that I've just released as well. My book came out last week. It's called Why Did I Buy That? Fashion Mistakes, Life Lessons. Because as a former editor of Vogue, I've certainly been in the pointy end of fashion most of my life, and I do understand that a lot of women out there are very confused about their fashion choices, and I wanted to make life easier. So that's why I've basically written the book. It's a very relaxed and conversational book to talk with a little bit of self-help, to be honest about it, about how to better edit your wardrobe and how to navigate the often confusing world of fashion. Hi, Danielle. Danielle's popped on. You're the first one. Thank you. My day is going really well. This is fun. Joy Bell, nice. Look at all these lovely people. Tracy Anderson. It's quite nice to be able to do it from home, isn't it? Professional at the top, casual down the bottom. And so today I'm going to go through, some new books that we wanted to talk about that are out this month and a book of the week. And then I don't know, just generally some of the trends in books that I like. Jennifer Clarence has just come on and said, ever stylish, which is very sweet of you, Jennifer. I'm wearing a headband because this is lockdown hair. I have not, as we all haven't been to the hairdressers for 4 months, and it's not pretty. So I just realized that I think the best way to do it is a headband and stick it at the back there. Hi, look, everyone's coming on. Stacey, Helen, Sandra, Carol, Nilima, hi, Costa. What app or word processor are authors using? You mean to actually write? Costa, to write your books? I'm literally just writing on an Apple Mac. Hi, Nola from Rockingham in Western Australia. Okay, different time zone. Right, here we go with books. About to start Aliata, that's a beautiful name. I'm reading No Place for a Woman by Maisie Young. Don't know that one, but I'm not going to know a lot of these books. I've been so busy head down writing. Natalie is writing, I'm about to start The Clockmaker's Daughter by Kate Morton. Oh, beautiful, nice one. Jill, hi. Costa, yes. I write on an Apple Mac. I could write on my phone, actually. I'm pretty good on the digital thing. Or maybe with a quill pen, that'd be fun too. The Paris Seamstress, Joy Bell is reading by the wonderful Natasha Lester. So a little bit of a fashion tip there, Joy Bell. Anne Lennox says, no, we're all not sure what to do with our hair. Yeah, this is my last ditch effort here. Mostly I've been wearing headscarves, kerchiefs. Just finished a beautiful World, Where Are You, Sally Rooney. I mean, that must be going gangbusters. I really did enjoy Normal People. So I will give Beautiful World a crack soon when I can. Apparently it's quite sexy, that book. My daughter-in-law is reading it. She said it was quite sexy. Janine, I love Permafrost. Oh, it's going too fast. Short stories. Oh, I love that. I love short stories. And I think they're great as to come back as a genre. They're really out for a while, and I think little musings are quite nice. And The Other Side of Beautiful by Kim Locke. I wonder what that's about, because that's a beautiful title. Rita Basso, I'm reading The Warsaw Orphan by Kelly Rimmer. The Warsaw Orphan. Okay, that brings me to, there's a couple of books I'm going to be wanted to talk about this week. I think it's been mentioned before that there is this book, The Nazis Knew My Name, which is a memoir by an Australian Slovakian Holocaust survivor. I think that Cheryl has talked about this before, Magda Hellinger and Maya Lee. And then there is a new book out, which is also, I think, Better Reading has said it's the book of the week, which is Three Sisters by Helen Morris. Again, it's another Holocaust book about Auschwitz, the horror of Auschwitz. And this one is about three sisters who have been involved in that particularly horrific experience. So a couple more World War II books from a female perspective, which is interesting. Stacey is reading, it's flipping here. We've got so many people on here. This is amazing. Paris Seamstress, I was just saying Thursday at Orange Blossom House, a nice book to read in lockdown, says Marg. The Most Beautiful Girl, Valerie's reading The Most Beautiful Girl in the World by Chanel Cleaton. And she also says, I can't wait to wear my new Kavari dress and 9 Lives dress, which I bought in lockdown and have got nowhere to go. I know. Well, we're coming out on Monday in Sydney, so I think we should just go out in full-length ball gowns and earrings and the full thing, because it has been quite dull for 4 months in leggings, hasn't it? All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, says Sally Smith. Yeah, Sally, good on you, because that was something that I was also going to pull up today, which is a new book from that author, is Cloud Cuckoo Land, which I'm sure is just as amazing. It is about dreamers and outsiders, Constantinople, 1453. It seems really beautiful and imaginative. So that's the new one from him. If you do love that, All the Light We Cannot See, which most people do. Rhonda Pulitzer. What did it win? It did anyway. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, says Leah, and I love Taylor Jenkins Reid's books. Nalima is reading False Witness by Karen Slaughter. I think they're murder mysteries, aren't they? Anna Down's session yesterday was awesome. Yes, I think we have that book here as well, The Shadow House. Again, 2 mothers, 2 sons, 1 worst nightmare. I've got twin boys, so that really appealed to me, that cover line. Jill just finished You Don't Know Me by Sarah Foster. Great book. I've heard of that, Sarah Foster. Yes, someone else told me they were reading Sarah Foster yesterday. I've just started This Is Going to Hurt by Adam Kay. Oh, I started that. Very funny, written by a doctor, an English doctor. It's that great British sense of humour. He's so overworked and doesn't actually understand how he ever ended up in that profession. It's very funny. Hi, Christine. Yes. Next week, hairdressers. Can you believe it? And manicures. Louise Gunn. Hi. The Trauma Queen. Sarah. Well, isn't it incredible? What an incredible book. What an incredible writer she is. And the story of that protagonist. The name escapes me, but I absolutely loved that book. I took it on holidays and just consumed it. I loved it. She's a magnificent writer. I think she has another book out I should look up, Sarah Cranstein. Hi, Kerry. I just reread After Story by Larissa Berendt, and she's discussing it with Book Club. Also in the middle of the Riviera House by Natasha Lester. We've got some Natasha Lester fans. Bev has finished The Buchanan Girls by Emily Madden. Tracy Anderson, this is up my alley. I'm reading A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Christine is also reading The Shadow House by Anna Downs. The Little French Bridal Shop by Jennifer Dupé. I think this is lovely. We've got some fashion fans here. Australian authors are fantastic at writing WW2 historical fiction. That's really true, isn't it? Yes, that's actually really true. Nola, I'm reading The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Funny. We need a good book. We need a good laugh. A true crime novel, Trust by Chris Hammer. Is that the one I've got here? Let me look. No. Hello, Chris Hammer fan, which is Michelle Beasley. Here's another one here. Chris Hammer, leader in Australian noir. It's called Treasure and Dirt. Nothing stays buried forever. And they are likening it to, one of the critics is likening it to Jane Harper's The Dry and Peter Temple's The Broken Shore. So that is the new one by Chris Hammer. So that presumably also, Michelle, is a fast-paced ride. Hi, Caroline Manners. Anne Lennox, can you tell me something about your book? Oh, for sure. Thanks for asking, Anne. So it is Why Did I Buy That? Fashion Mistakes, Life Lessons. I have to say, and I'm not comparing myself to her, I would never do that, but the vibe behind this book is, I was kind of, my guiding light was a book by one of my favorites, Nora Ephron's, if you've ever read I Feel Bad About My Neck. the New York Times bestseller about a gazillion times over. And so I'm channeling the great Nora Ephron. I'm not comparing myself to her, but that idea, it's very conversational, woman to woman, about how we feel about fashion, about shopping, about aging, about beauty, about letting our hair go grey, about size, all the things, plastic surgery, all the things that we come up against as we have from when we're younger to as we age, and how we navigate that minefield of a world. But I've done it as it's a very light-hearted book. It's supposed to be a relaxed chat with a friend. But in it there is a bit of advice as well. I mean, I think it sits in the self-help section, but it's sort of tips to get your wardrobe into shape without spending too much money, and how to feel good about yourself. I certainly designed it to make women feel confident and feel great about their choices, and to feel supported and, have a laugh on the way through. Because I've come from the pointy end of fashion, and I know that's very confusing to a lot of people. It's really confusing to me, to be honest. And so this is me trying to make sense of it. So that's it in a nutshell. And Maggie Alderson, bless her, my friend and a great author, she gave me the endorsement which said, like chatting to a hilarious best friend who happens to be an A-list fashion insider, which is very sweet of her. And that is the vibe that I was going for with the book. So thanks, Anne, for asking. Denise is reading Loving Lizzie March, and hi. Cloud Cuckoo Land, yeah, Cloud Cuckoo Land, it sounds incredible. Oh, Christine Begg is reading it and enjoying it. Sandra Scully, Todd Alexander's You've Got to Be Kidding. Oh, I want to know more about that. I needed a book to laugh about. That sounds good. It's a good title, You've Got to Be Kidding. Helen is reading, almost finished The Eighth Wonder, which she says is fantastic. Stephanie, hi Stephanie, Khaki Town by Judy Nunn. I've got another one here. Yeah, this is an uncorrected advance, so that must be really, when's this coming out? It came out last week. Another Judy Nunn called Showtime, and this one is set in the second half of the 19th century in Melbourne. That's cool. And I think it's also about the goldfields of Victoria, some friends who have met in a London orphanage and are now in Australia. Judy Nunn, I don't really need to talk that much about her. Everybody knows about her. She's a blockbuster Australian author, and that is her new one. Hello, I loved This Is Going to Hurt. Yes, it is funny, isn't it? The Little Tea Shop in Tokyo. I feel like I read that book. Is that where they time travel? I'm not sure. No, that was a different book. Okay, but that sounds interesting. Thank you, Tony. I'm reading The Tea Ladies of St. Jude's Hospital by Joanna Nell, says Yvonne. This is cool. I mean, I'm reading Before You Knew My Name. A lot of people are reading that currently, I think. Yes. I love the sound of your book. Thanks, Julietta. That's great. Isn't it great that she said, can't wait to read it, Julietta Henderson, thanks. But isn't it great that bookstores are open on Monday in Sydney? I miss them, just, the browsing. And we were talking about it, when you buy books online or Kindle, whatever, I feel like they're definitely a destination. You want that book and you go for it. And I do read books online. I like Kindles at night. But isn't it lovely just to go into a bookstore and just browse and find something unexpected and, grab it at the counter? I love it. Thanks, Jessica. Yes, you must buy my book today. That would be awesome. Thank you. Sharon, nearly finished You Had It Coming by B.M. Carroll. That sounds really creepy, You Had It Coming. That's not a sound you ever want to hear come out of anybody's mouth, is it? You Had It Coming. Tony, Christian Beck, just read According to Yes by Dawn French. It was a good laugh. Oh, I love Dawn French. And Anne is reading The List by Joanna Buliri. I was just, when Cheryl invited me to do this, I thought, oh, what am I reading at the moment? I recently just moved and all my books are all put away in storage, but I do have some other ones that are around the house. And when I looked, I realized that I don't know that it was ever a conscious choice, but I only ever seem to read either about a woman or a woman's story, or the book is written by a woman. if I look at here, I've the ones that I've read recently, I've read Sorrow and Bliss by Meg Mason. I've read The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. I read this wonderful book by Francine Prose about Peggy Guggenheim. So it's by a woman, about a woman. Because obviously I'm ex-Vogue. I bought Alex Schulman's book about clothes and other things that matter, which was also a very personal read about fashion and how she feels about fashion. So they were the current ones that I had they're ones that I've read. What I'm into at the moment is I absolutely love horror. And I went onto the internet and I went onto Twitter and asked random people, what was the scariest book they'd ever read? Because nothing's ever scary enough for me. And everybody told me the consensus was that this book called Night Film by Marisha Pessel was like, turn the lights on, sleep with the lights on scary. So I'm halfway through that. It's not a new book. It came out in 2014. I'm not scared yet, but I live in hope. I don't scare easily, obviously. And the other book that I bought is this one by Gary Nunn called The Psychic Tests, where he delves into the world of psychics, mediums, and astrologers to understand their powers, because I'm highly into not necessarily astrology, but I'm highly into clairvoyancy and mediums. I go and see them as often as I possibly can. I read tarot myself as a hobby. I'm super interested in horror and the supernatural. So, and fashion, not so much. Horror and the supernatural is probably my passions at the moment. Back here, Dawn French, also just read, says Christine. The List we went to that, by Anne Williams says, by Joanna Blury. Donna loves books, loves like Cutter's End by Margaret Hickey. Jessica has just said, I love Meg Mason. Natalie says, I've heard Sorrow and Bliss was divine. Did you enjoy it? I did enjoy it. I think for me, it had a little bit of that Normal People vibe to it, about a young woman navigating her way through family life, and there were sort of mental health issues and what have you. But Meg Mason has quite a quirky sense of humour. There's more humour in this book. She's got a really nice voice. I'm not going to say sing-song, but it's really, you feel like she's in the room with you. So I would recommend it. Sandra Scully can't read scary. I just don't find things scary enough. If anybody's got some tips on scary, I'd like to hear it, because I like to get spooked. I used to really love ghost stories when I was a little girl. I still do. Jan Ellery likes Legacy by Nora Roberts. Christine reads tarot too. Isn't that fun? It's like a little pop psych hobby of mine. Get some friends together and have a glass of wine and read their tarots. I'm really hopeless at reading my own tarots, though. I feel like, because when I read them, I'm like, no, I disagree. I argue with myself, but I like it. Anything with vampires, Gail. Yeah, vampires are sexy, aren't they? I used to like those Hammer horrors when I was young. Yeah, but I want to find a book that's really scary in a way that you've never thought about it before, that it's not necessarily a shape-shifting monster, but that it's just really perturbing. I quite like that idea. Anne Williams, and I'd love a recommendation if anybody's found this book sort of odd. I quite like it. Which mediums have you followed, if any? I don't probably tend to follow the famous ones, because I always feel like if they're famous, they might have sold out a bit. But wherever I go in the world, I will always try to go and see that local clairvoyant or the local astrologer, or the tarot readers. I mean, I'll walk into a tarot place in New York if it's got a neon sign and go and get my tarots read there, because I just enjoy the process. Yeah, and I do have a tarot Bible I bought in London. There's a fantastic bookshop in London. It's all devoted. There's probably more than one, but the one that I went to was all devoted to the occult. And they sell like the satin bags to put your tarot cards in and things. a real dressed poltergeist would be right up your alley. Oh yes, poltergeists terrify me. Yes, Nola, you're right. Poltergeists are scary, and apparently attracted by the energy of young adolescent women, which is they're a good basis for a creepy story. Just finished The Four Winds by Hannah Kent, says Madonna. Such a great storyteller, The Four Winds. Okay, I don't know about that, but good, thank you. Where was this? Wait, well-dressed, yes, I know what you meant, well-dressed poltergeist. Name the book recommended for scary books. Back here, it was called, I got it on Amazon. It's called Night Film. And I mean, the time intensely gripping in the same league as Gone Girl, hypnotically suspenseful by Lee Child, who's obviously a big writer. The book everyone's talking about, a hell of a read, compulsive thriller, but I'm still not scared. So let's see. Where am I? I'm literally halfway. We'll see. The Stand. Yeah, The Stand's scary, isn't it? Yeah, The Stand is scary. What's the other one? There's another Stephen King I read years ago that was terrifying. It's probably The Shining. The Shining's terrifying. Chasing the Boogeyman by Richard Shizmaru. Spooky and will give you the shivers. Thank you, Sally Ann. Good tip. I'm Hard to Scare. Anna Downs recommended Last House on Needless Street. Okay. I'm going to screenshot that. That's good. Kirsten Hanna. Sandra Scully. What was that? You know, I'm not sure what you meant there. Can you come back and tell me, Kirsten Hanna? Have I read Flowers in the Attic? Oh, yeah, I guess so. When I was a teenager. How funny. Yeah, and there was a terrible miniseries that was based on it, like a really schlocky one. But Flowers in the Attic, something to do with a brother. Anyway, yes. Lee Tulloch, hi. Hi, Lee. That's Fabulous Lee Tulloch's on here, the author of Fabulous Nobodies and millions of other wonderful books. Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz. He wrote Midsummer Murders, but it's very clever, old-fashioned, cozy. Oh, okay, it's not terrifying. Lee and I have the same taste in books, actually. We used to consume detective novels, and particularly if they're written by, and crime novels, particularly if they're written by women. Natasha Lester, says Kerry Stewart, collects vintage clothes and always includes luscious descriptions of clothing in her novels. I like descriptions of clothing in books. A lot of people don't do it. A lot of people don't even credit people with the hair colour or anything anymore, and I quite love to know what they're wearing. That really paints a picture to me. I feel like I've come inside their heads if I know what they've got on. I absolutely agree with you, Kerry. Lucia Frasca. One Little Life by Naomi Hunter left me traumatized. So I read The Other Side of Beautiful by Kim Locke to lighten up my sadness. Oh, how lovely, though. I mean, traumatized is harsh, but how lovely that books make you feel like that, and that then you went to The Other Side of Beautiful. I'm going to look that up because I think 3 people have mentioned The Other Side of Beautiful on this chat. The Night She Disappeared. See, you can just tell if it's got a line like that, I'd like to read it. More disconcerting than chilling. Yes, disconcerting's good, isn't it? I like that as an idea for a book. I might have a go at that. Love scary books. Stephen King is my favourite author. I haven't read a lot of Stephen King for years. I did certainly when I was in my early 20s. But I was trying to find somebody who had like a new author that had a genre like that maybe, that I could get into. Some of Michael Rowbotham's books are psychological theory. They scared me, says Christine Patman. Okay. These are all good recommendations. Let's ask Good Better Reading to put a list of recommendations of books that will scare you. I mean, my book won't scare you. My book's supposed to make you laugh and make you feel better. Just the concept of a clown down a gutter. Mexican Gothic, meant to be creepy, but not scary at all yet. Maybe it's a big build, Laura, like the book I'm on. Hi, Lee. Hi, Lee says hi, and then Lee says no. I don't know what she's saying no to. Oh, okay, got you. Sandra Scully is just confirming that Kirsten Hanna is the author of The Four Winds, not Hannah Kent. Okay. Pet Sematary. Yeah, I think I've seen the movie of Pet Sematary, Kim Lane. Yeah, okay, we've cleared that up with Kirsten Hanna. Thank you. JP Pomare books, they're amazing, says Jessica Reinmuth. Marg Freeman, I also enjoyed The Other Side of Beautiful. I am 100% hopping on my Kindle after this and ordering that up. I've really gotten into reading on a Kindle in lockdown because I wasn't so sure about the post, how fast the post was going to be. And also, I do find when I'm reading at night, I nod off quite easily, and I don't so much on a Kindle. Keeps, maybe it's the bright light behind it, but I have no issue with ebooks at all. Do you watch Wentworth on Foxtel? They've done some very scary scenes. Hey, good point. Wentworth is a really good quality. It's a quality show. It always has been, and I guess it's very ominous being in a prison when you can't escape. That's a very ominous thought. Like a submarine, if anybody's watched Vigil, the idea of it's like an Agatha Christie, where the murderer is on the submarine and you can't get off. That's a good trope, isn't it? The new Stephen King, says Sally Ann O'Leary, called Billy Summers, was amazing and so emotional and lovely and so lovely. No, I wonder how many books Stephen King has done at this point. It's amazing. And Janine Weber says The Long Game by Simon Rowell, wonderful female protagonist. It's an excellent thriller. I've always liked the women detective series. Do you remember the Alphabet series? A is for whatever, Alibi, B is for whatever it was. They were fantastic books. More women gumshoes the better, I think. So I don't know. And there was another book that I wanted to talk about, actually, that was based on this one. Caroline Overington's new book, The Cuckoo's Cry. And I have read Caroline does some thrillers, and I did read her the one that got away. And it really did leave me guessing to the last minute, because I'm sure you all are too, because you're such big readers. But, being able to spot the murder, spot what happened straight away, I really didn't know. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I was reading in the paper on the weekend, Caroline did this as an audio book first, and then turned the audio book into print, which is the other way around. It must have been incredibly difficult. But that sounds really interesting to me. And 250,000 people downloaded it as an audio book, which kind of put her into the idea of that she should bring it out in print. So that's probably another must read for this week or this month. Everybody's saying The Other Side of Beautiful. We've got to get onto that, people. And Natalie Burke says Line of Duty series is fabulous with the same writers as Vigil. Yeah, same actors too. It seemed like there was a couple of them who had been in Line of Duty. And it's quite complex writing, isn't it? But it did feel like an Agatha Christie book. What other books have I been reading that this lockdown was? What did I have on? Oh, it was actually a spy novel. It was about it was a bit of a war piece called Secret and Special by Will Davies. When someone said before, Australian authors are really good at historical books about World War II and World War I and research. So I dip into that as well. I guess the genres that I like are, as I said, horror. I don't read that many books about fashion, probably because I lived and breathed it for so long. But I don't know. I think pretty much my choice is always women, by women, about women, for women. And not even conscious. It was one day I invited the fashion designer, Karen Walker, over to my house, for the New Zealand fashion designer, for dinner. And she was wandering down the hallway and she looked at my bookcase and she said to me, "Oh, look at that. Like pretty much 95% of your bookcases by women or for women. And I was like, something I just didn't even know. It was an unconscious thing that I'd chosen to do. So so go us. So that's my hosting for today. Thanks for joining me, and thanks for all of your Cuckoo's cry. Okay, good. His fearful symmetry. Ooh, that scared you. Thanks, Janine. All right, I'm going to look that up. Thank you for all those horror recommendations, and I'm going to ask Cheryl if she can do a list for us that we can all deep dive into. But thanks so much for joining me today, and enjoy going back into the bookstores when we're out of lockdown. It's going to be super exciting, I think. So thank